This, again, the moment of Zen, if you're tuning in, that was my buddy Derek who went for a swim. He used to be like Olympic swimmer, swam for the University of Georgia. So he's still at it, and he was taking that morning swim there in Miami. Wouldn't that be nice right there? Again, comfortably warm today, mostly cloudy. It's going to be a bit warmer Friday, Saturday, upper 80s. No crazy heat or anything like that. And then autumn-like weather next week. And 83 degrees at high temperature today. We got Sellersburg celebrates today, tomorrow, Saturday. So head over to Sellersburg for their big festivities there. And we've got the Kentucky State Fair continuing, feeling good for the rest of this week. Great weather to enjoy if you want to take a visit and check out all the animals and the great food out there and the exhibits. Friday night football. Hey, we've got New Albany at Providence, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. We've got Silver Creek or taking on Charlestown. I guess Charlestown might be a Silver Creek at 7 o'clock. But high school football kicking off tomorrow evening, and that's one sign that fall is getting closer as well. So pregame, late afternoon, 87, around kickoff, 84, around halftime, 80 degrees, and then 77 after the game. So things are looking good there for our football. It will be all dry. And our countdown continues. We're less than 2 weeks from those before 8 p.m. sunsets. We're now right around a month from autumn beginning on September 22nd. A couple days after that, a little over a month, average highs in the 70s. But we get that early taste of autumn next week. And then our average highs in the 60s in less than 60 days now in a couple of months. Right around October 19th is when we have our average highs in the 60s. Now, we can still get hot. We can have hot spells, of course, through September and even into October. The latest we've had a high temperature above 90 is October 15th. That happened in 1897 with a high of 91 degrees. So it can still get hot even into October, but we get more and more of those cool spells. And we have technically made it past what is on average our hottest part of the year. We went this week from an average high of 89 down to 88. So this cooler air working in here this week is kind of right on schedule here for us. All right, as far as what might bother you a little bit here is the pollen. It is high with our ragweed season now across the region. UV index is at a lower level at 4 today with a mostly cloudy sky. Lillian Lasley coming in with the current conditions, 76 at her house. Thanks for that report there. Here's your forecast summary for today for your August 21st, 83 degrees, comfortably warm, mostly cloudy, dry, northeast wind at around 10 to 15, and our sunset at 8:28. Our low for tonight, 68, partly cloudy, mild and dry. I've noticed with this drier air that has moved in, in July when we had 5th hottest July with not only because of the heat in the afternoon, but the basically record mugginess that we had. I thought our upstairs unit was kind of failing because it just felt a little bit more humid than normal, even inside the house. But now with this drier air, our HVAC units, our AC units seem to be working phenomenal. Knock on wood, because we've had about everything breaking around the house. We've got Dennis Gregory. Good morning. We were cruising right through Bedford yesterday on our way through to and back from IU. Feeling awesome, and he is here for it. Let's go, Dennis Gregory. Yeah, we've got some awesome weather. Love the positivity there. And so our forecast tomorrow for your Friday, it's coming. The weekend is here almost. 82 at noon, 87 for your 4 p.m. afternoon high. So just a little warmer tomorrow, maybe a little bit more humid as well, but not too shabby. 7:04, our sunrise and our sunset at 8:26. Here is that glorious 7-day forecast. 87 Friday, 89 Saturday. So Saturday, our warmest day, ahead of a cold front that'll move through late Saturday. I just put the wording isolated on Saturday. Most of the area is going to be dry as this front moves through. This Canadian front moves through, mostly dry. That'll put us down to lower 80s Sunday and maybe even upper 70s up around Seymour and Scottsburg. So it's going to be like, cooler north, warmer south kind of thing Sunday. Lower humidity for sure. The driest air likely since May. So again, this is air that we haven't felt for a few months here. Got 78 going Monday, 77 Tuesday, 78 Wednesday, 80 next Thursday. Lows in the 50s. That is some really good stuff there. If you're tired of summertime, I know there's a lot of summer lovers out there that want summer to continue forever. I love summertime too, but this will be a nice little respite, a nice little break here for us. And we're about to dig into those weather model data. Got another comment popping in. Beverly saying, I came home to a leaky water heater that has to be replaced. That's kind of where we're at. We built our house 11 years ago, so things aren't built like they used to be. So we're just starting to get things that are breaking. What are you gonna do? All right, that is the forecast. It is coming up to 10:20. Hey, we're right on time. We're right on time on this Thursday. It's time to start to dig into that weather model data. So let me take that off and bring this up. So here is the current conditions, mostly cloudy sky across the region, a north and northeast breeze. And that northeast breeze is kind of coming right off the Atlantic and from Hurricane Erin. This is Hurricane Erin, Category 2 hurricane. It's making its closest approach here to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The impact there is gusty winds, big waves, and some high surf, rip tides, all that stuff. And then that storm is going to continue to track off to the northeast. So the weather models did a great job on that storm, by the way. If you're keeping track over the last week and a half, you can see, let me clear that off. Here's the full track of Hurricane Erin as it came off of the west coast of Africa. Now, what is next is this this feature that, like Erin, moved off of the west coast of Africa here. So here's the next low pressure system that we're going to watch. You can see the models take it this way towards the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands, to the Caribbean. Do you say Caribbean or do you say Caribbean? I think I normally just say Caribbean. All right, so that'll be heading that way. So that is going to maybe be an interesting one to watch in the coming days. And I can bring up, as we have been kind of taking a look at, let's bring up the National Hurricane Center. And so there's that development there. And the potential for some development. So you're seeing 4 things that the National Hurricane Center is watching. And that means, we're getting closer to September, closer to the peak of hurricane season. So things getting interesting out here in the Atlantic Basin, right on time. Okay, heading back home. Let's bring up the big headline from the Climate Prediction Center, the CPC. You can go to the cpc.ncep.noaa.gov and see a map like this. We haven't seen that in months and months and months. So this shows us that we are in the core of a high confidence of below normal temperatures for next week. We're talking temperatures trending about 10 degrees below normal. That means 70s for highs, lows in the 50s for much of our next week. So I know a lot of you breaking out that pumpkin spice. We already have it in the fridge. Our pumpkin spice coffee creamer. So there you go. If this were Nirvana, I guess you'd have the face like that. That's the Nirvana. Okay. So there you go. That's the CPC, Climate Prediction Center. And we are in cooler to the normal weather pattern for the long range outlook. And that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about. I really am not going to bring, typically you've probably heard me talk about the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh weather model, or the NAM 3 kilometer. And that's when we look at the chances of rain. There really isn't anything popping up. So I'm going to not even look at the future radar. We'll look at the future temperatures because that is the weather headline and that's what's going to be impacting us the most. Beverly, well, that lasted a long time, that water heater. Put it in 1999, 26 years. I hope ours will go that long. All right. Well, good luck with that repair there, Beverly. If you have any weather questions, as always, you can just drop it in the comments. Anybody? So let's go to the weather model. This is the GFS high resolution weather model. I'm going to bring up the temperature map. So our warmest is going to be Saturday. That is what, the 23rd? That's when we might top out near 90 in Louisville, but I would say upper 80s for most areas. Let's zoom in here. So it's showing some upper 80s in Kentucky, maybe a little bit cooler as the front's moving through Saturday in southern Indiana. So there you go. We got 80s tomorrow, 80s Saturday. Let me clear that off. And as we back up our view, so we've got this front that's going to be moving through Saturday. And what a game changer that is going to be for us as well. So let's go into Sunday afternoon. And I will say that the GFS on these maps will be a little bit cooler than reality. It doesn't show necessarily the maximum temperature. But here you go, Sunday showing a lot of 70s across the region, 70s, low 80s. How about that for your Sunday? Sunday. So I'm actually kind of glad it's going to be a warmer Saturday because we're going to be heading over to the lake, to Patoka for the day. So would rather have a warm day for the lake Saturday than this cooler stuff Sunday. But I'm going to love the cool stuff on Sunday as well. And we've got Kay Gibbons. Love this weather. Can actually enjoy outside. Yeah, get things done and not be sweating through the clothes right away. So that's your Sunday. Let's go into Monday morning, the 25th. 25th of August already. All right, so this is at 8 a.m. Let me do a zoom in here to our area. And so again, maybe a little cooler than like full on reality. Actually, I think that's probably right on. Upper 50s, low 60s for our Monday morning, and just a little cooler for some areas farther off to the north. Liking it right there, about 10 below normal. Kay's going golfing Sunday. I might try to figure that out for myself as well. Try to get a tee time. Orlean, good morning. A little late today. Have a good day. Thanks for popping in right now, Orlean. You're timing it out just right. We're talking about the good stuff here, and then we'll get back to the forecast recap here in just a second. Here at 10:26 on this August the 21st. So that is our Monday morning. Monday afternoon temps, not going to be quite that cool. Like it's showing low 70s on this model. I think we'll actually be upper 70s Monday for high temperatures. Now, a portion of the afternoon, maybe some lower 70s. So there you go. That's a look at, I would say, early October kind of weather here for us. All right, let me clear that out. And then I think our coolest morning will be probably Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning. Let me go to, I've got Wednesday morning as the coolest at 56 for a low. So that would be the 27th, 8 a.m. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at that blue right there. So that is a chunk of Canadian air dropping over a lot of real estate here and cooling it down even to the deep south. So Canada flexing its cool muscles here for us and giving us a significant cool down. So we're looking at temps. Look at that, some 40s popping up. I don't think we'll get to 40s, but I've got low mid 50s for our Wednesday morning. But that is what we call a change in the air mass as the hot weather goes down along the coast. There you go. Let me bring that up full screen. Let's just take a peek at that for a little while. So that's the heart of the Canadian air that's going to be dropping over us. Lows in the 40s and 50s over the Ohio Valley and the Midwest, up around the Great Lakes, Wednesday morning next week. So this isn't just a quick cool spell. This one will linger for a while. Much of next week below normal temperatures here for us. All right, let me get out of the full screen. We'll clear that out. And we can go to the long range And what that means is we're starting to go into that been on a limb segment here. So, all right, let's take a look. When will things start to warm back up after our autumn-like weather next week? And I think the best way to show that is the dew points. That when you start to see the moisture creeping up from the Gulf, that means the air mass is changing back towards summertime. So let's take a look at the long-range dew point map. Again, that's going to be our measure of water content. And if you're just tuning in, you're into the weather nerd portion of this. We're going to get back to your forecast summary here in just a second. So now we're popping in the dew points. Look at that. That is incredible. We haven't seen that since way before summertime. That is a dew point drop all the way to the Gulf Coast. So even our friends down here in southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, showing an incredibly dry air mass. Look at that. That's significant. That is a big change that we haven't felt, again, since May. So we're talking a few months ago it felt like this. So that is Wednesday the 27th. So we'll take that as the baseline, middle of the cool spell. When does that humid air start to creep back to the north is the question that I don't even know the answer to because I haven't looked at it that far out. We're going to look at it together. And I think it's still going to be that dry Thursday, the 28th. So let's go like Friday, the 29th and see if we see like any change. All right. So what we know is that it's still looking like low humidity overall. But what we're seeing here is just a slow transition back to a little more humidity out to our west, which is pretty common. We'll start to get that humidity creeping back up west, and then it'll start moving to the east. So let's see if that happens. We'll go to Saturday the 30th. So we're getting towards like Labor Day weekend. So there you go. So now we're starting to add the humidity back. So not this weekend, the following weekend, maybe we'll start to see that return flow. We're starting to get probably a south breeze kicking in here, and it's starting to look a little more humid. It's not horrible, though. These are just dew points in the 60s. That is very tolerable and fairly comfortable, actually. But it's just kind of a first sign that we're starting to transition back to more of a summer-like pattern. So as far as the temperatures, let me go to, it was showing some rain. That's why I showed the cool temperatures. Let's go, what is it, Sunday the 31st? We're getting out there a little ways here. It's not bad. It's not that bad. I did look like to September 5th. It looked like maybe around that time we would start to get back into more of a hot pattern. So I'm going to go let's go September 2nd. That's still not bad. That's still not looking too bad at all. Dew points aren't crazy. So this is a nice long spell of some good weather here for us. Let's go September. Let's just go all the way to September 5th. So after Labor Day, that's when you're starting to see the tropical air out west of us, but still not quite here. And then bringing up the temperature map. Heat builds out west of us first. So yeah, guys, it might be a while before we see any kind of September heat wave. So they might start to heat up to our west early September. So there you go. We've got a nice cooler weather pattern all next week, and then it might just be kind of a slow, gradual rise getting closer to normal. But by that time, we're talking normal highs, lower mid 80s as we head into September.